Hi there, my name is Tim Schmidt. I'm the president and founder of the USCCA, and I'm broadcasting live here from our headquarters in West Bend, Wisconsin. Now folks, the title of tonight's presentation is called How to Survive an Attack in the Outdoors. You know, there's almost 250 employees that work for the USCCA to make this whole operation work. And tonight, over 70 people have volunteered to stay late to make sure that all of your questions get answered. Now, one of those people is sitting right next to me here. It's Katie. She's part of our social care team. Katie, how's it going?
Awesome. We've already got a bunch of people asking questions.
Fantastic. Thanks, Katie. So now remember, if you activate your elite membership, or if you upgrade to an elite membership, you're going to get one of our biggest and best bonus packages that we've ever put together. It's over $500, which of course includes this awesome Kershaw USCCA emblazoned knife. And of course, it wouldn't be a legitimate live training broadcast if I wasn't giving away guns. So throughout the evening, I'll be giving away 3 Glock 19s to 3 lucky winners. So please stick with us just in case you're one of the winners. Well, Katie, what do you say? Should we do it?
Let's do it.
All right, perfect. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to watch a short training video. This training video covers some of the most often overlooked aspects of self-defense. I hope you like the video, and I'll see you in the studio.
We know that if you're doing it right, you've made a home defense plan. But what happens when you leave the house with your friends or family? Do you think about, and more specifically, do you talk about your own personal protection plan? This is especially important if you have younger children. Making sure that you're talking to them in age-appropriate terms to let them know what it is you're going to do if something goes really wrong. When my kids were younger, we always had the kind of what you would call the safe word, the alert word, what's going to happen. And for me, that phrase was, hey, this is very serious right now. The kids knew when I said that something was going to happen and they needed to be listening and they needed to pay attention. We needed to get out of that location. But that's just one part of what happens when you're talking about an overall personal protection plan for when you're away from the home. If you're out on vacation, you're traveling in an RV, you're doing something out away from where you would normally be, make sure that you think about things like having a rally point. Where are you all going to go if something goes wrong? Make sure that everybody has a means to contact everybody else in the group in case you get separated. Things like that. You need to think about your personal protection plan. And teach everybody in your group things like situational awareness and conflict avoidance. Point things out to other people who might not be as experienced as you so that you can help them along the way. This is especially helpful when you have a group of people because remember, more eyes looking for danger means you're more likely to spot something before it happens. We want you to be thinking about this stuff long before it ever happens. Make plans, be situationally aware, and talk about that stuff with the people in your group. Make sure that everybody knows what you want them to do and what might happen in the event of an emergency.
All right, welcome to the USCCA studios for tonight's live training broadcast. Here's what you can expect tonight. We'll be here for about an hour, but I promise it's going to be worth it. Now, why is it going to be worth it? Because as I mentioned before, I'm giving away not 1, not 2, but 3 brand new Glock 19s all throughout the night. Now, the Glock 19, it's a rugged, reliable gun. It's actually the gun that I personally trust to protect my family. I'll be drawing the winners live, so don't miss out when I call your name. Okay, I'll also be revealing some never-before-seen training videos for you tonight, so be sure to stick around for that as well. Now, also, as I mentioned before, we've got over 70 people here for this live broadcast. Now, they all volunteered to stay late, and I highly recommend that you take advantage of this. You can call 877-677-1919 to talk with them right now, and don't forget the whole team is live on chat as well. Now, I know that many of you are USCCA members already, so thank you for being part of the USCCA family. We're blessed to have you, and you know that we're here to help. But if you're new, here's what the USCCA does in a nutshell. We provide education, training, and legal protection so that you can confidently defend the people that you love. You know, every day I hear about the peace of mind that our members enjoy. They know that they have access to amazing education and training benefits. They also know that they can make one call and get the help that they need 24/7, 365 days a year. All right. Guys, here's the best part. Because you tuned in tonight, you qualify for some amazing bonuses. Now, for our current USCCA members, I'm giving away a free $509 bonus to anyone who upgrades their membership to the elite level. Now, that includes some of our best training and a free $50 Kershaw knife. Plus, I'll also throw in extra life-saving training package worth $94 if you activate or upgrade your membership tonight. Simply scroll down and click that button to lock in your bonuses. Now, if you're already an elite USCCA member, hey, don't worry. Since you've already got the best of the best, I'm going to give you 20 free USCCA shooting targets just for watching tonight. All you need to do is cover the shipping and handling, and I'll send them right to your home. It's just my way of saying thank you. But if you're not a USCCA member yet, this is probably the smartest time to join. You see, if you activate your USCCA membership and join the family, you'll also get that free bonus package worth up to $509. Heck, the bonus package alone more than pays for your elite membership. And I'll also toss in that free life-saving training package worth $94. But that's for tonight only. That means you're getting up to $603 in bonuses plus the best membership benefits that we've ever offered. That includes member-only access to top-notch education, training, and legal protection. Trust me, this is the best time to become a USCCA member. Now, you should see all of these bonuses on your screen right now. And just remember, these bonuses are for tonight only, so please don't put this off. Simply scroll down and click the button below to claim your bonuses and to supercharge your member benefits right now. Please don't hesitate because it's 100% risk-free. Everything is completely backed by my 365-day bulletproof money-back guarantee. Zero risk, all reward, and the peace of mind that you deserve. Again, just give us a call at 877-677-1919 or scroll down and click that big button below. Okay, it's time to introduce tonight's guests. To my far right, we're going to start with Kevin Michalowski. Now, for those of you who've watched these live training broadcasts before, you're probably thinking, he's here again.
Can't get rid of me. Can't get rid of me.
So Kevin, of course, is the executive editor of our award-winning publication, Concealed Carry Magazine. So Kevin, once again, thanks for joining us.
I love being here.
To my right, to my direct right, we have our Proving Ground trainee, Carolyn. Carolyn, thanks for being here tonight.
No problem.
I have to tell you, you did an amazing job on camera, and congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
To my left here, of course, we have attorney Tom Greaves, another oldie but goodie. Tom is one of the top criminal defense attorneys in Wisconsin. And again, for those of you who've watched these live training broadcasts before, you guys also know that Tom does a really good job of delivering excellent information, but in a very entertaining way, which is quite rare for lawyers. So as usual, happy to have Tom here. And last but not least, we have Pete Vasquez. He is a retired law enforcement officer, SWAT team member, and obviously now current law enforcement trainer. And Pete did all the training for this Proving Ground series. So Pete, thanks for being here as well. Okay, so now I realize that a lot of you guys have already watched the three videos that we put together moving up to tonight's event. But for those of you who maybe didn't have a chance to watch them, I've asked Max here, my trusty sidekick, who is off camera, so you don't know if I'm making him up or not. No, he is a real person. Max put together a nice little recap of the three Proving Ground videos. So Max, let's watch those right now.
I mean, I don't want things to get weird. Oh, is he checking on the burgers in there?
Huh?
You checking on the burgers in there?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah?
Why don't you guys maybe leave? What's the reason for having a knife out?
Oh, hey, big man, what are you doing there?
That's right. You want to go in there and check the...
You want to take out a gun over a couple dollars?
You want to just move along?
Well, Pete, we saw the first scenario with Carolyn Scott out there. What did you think went well, and what do you think we could teach them to do a little bit better?
Well, I think they could have improved on the distance, keeping their distance away from the bad guy. The good part was that he went and got his weapon. She went and got a weapon. We can improve on how they present those weapons when they see the threat.
Absolutely. I saw the knife out. I want to see the gun out.
This is a good episode.
Oh, is that the Bazinga one? I wanted to get some snacks.
Sit down.
sit down. I don't want your wallets. I don't want your cell phones. I don't want any prescription drugs you got, okay? I don't want your ibuprofen. I don't want your Midol. I want the good stuff. Got me?
Gotcha.
You stay there. You move. Where is it? Nice and slow.
Should I set this here?
I'm watching you, man. Who the hell keeps drugs in a safe?
Get out of here. Right now. Call 911.
Okay, so that was obviously the recap video. And for those of you who've never watched a live training broadcast before, one of the biggest benefits is all of the questions that really are user generated. So they're coming from all of you. And what you'll find is a lot of the questions that you have in your own head and even sometimes in your own heart are also coming from other members as well. So one of the best ways that we learn is we sit up here and we simply answer questions. So we've already got a ton of questions coming in. Max is actually putting them up on a screen that I can look off camera. So these are actually live questions. And the first question, this was written at least 4 or 5 times. People wanted to hear from you, Carolyn.
Oh boy.
So obviously, as we watched the recap video plus the 3 previous videos, Pete here put you through some pretty tough training. What was it like? First of all, what was the whole experience like, and what was it like to have to learn and be trained outside of the safety of your home?
The experience was great. It was interesting. There were lots of times where I guess we just didn't think about not being at home and being out in a camping environment, what it would be like if somebody bothered us.
Right.
And so it was a great learning experience where we made a lot of mistakes because you're just not prepared for the away from home experience.
Wow. One of the things that Kevin says a lot is where the mind hasn't been, the body can't really go either. So it's amazing how forcing yourself to think through different scenarios really enables yourself to live that as well.
We are going to change the way we camp. Being campers, I mean, we've learned a lot, so things will definitely change.
Excellent.
But yeah, it was very interesting and great learning experience.
Pete, was Carolyn a pretty good student?
She was. The best students are the ones that really want to learn. And get involved with the training, that actually take it to heart. And the second scenario that we put her through, we caught her completely off guard, and she responded as naturally as anyone would do in a real situation, which is what, as a trainer, you're shooting for, because it shows the student some things they may have to work on and be prepared for. And I think we accomplished that with that second one.
There were some real light bulb moments I saw during the training in between the 2 scenarios when it was like, those are things I hadn't thought about. And that's exactly why we have people in that situation, to give them things they probably didn't think about before.
Wow, excellent. Carolyn, thanks for that great answer.
Oh, no problem.
So here's another question that's been coming up quite a bit, and this is a little bit more, not so much focused on these specific scenarios, and I'm sure that each of us will have our own different opinion. But the questioner here says, what type of gear should you carry every single day? And if you're outside, if you're camping, should it be different?
I would say, no, it shouldn't be different. If we go to that one, the gear that you should carry every single day, that you should have access to quickly, obviously your firearm, probably some spare ammo, and first aid gear. And first aid gear, as Pete said in the training, is not just there because you're worried about being involved in a shooting or something like that. First aid while camping, you know, people are going to get cut. You're using hatchets or saws or something like that. So for me, that's just the base elements of what you need right there is your firearm, spare ammo, and first aid gear. And then probably some sort of communication device. You know, everybody has a cell phone now, but you know, maybe it's a CB radio or something in areas where cell phones don't work. Some way to communicate to get help.
And I would say, whatever you carry the same stuff all the time so that you're aware of what you have, where it is, so you can quickly and effectively get to it and know that, oh, I got something to fix this problem. I have it right here and I know where it is, so that either you can get to it or you can direct somebody to get it for you. So I recommend that it's always the same stuff. we would call it a go bag.
Sure.
It's always the same stuff.
Yeah, good advice. That actually reminds me of, I was recently talking to Tommy, one of our video production guys, and he was carrying this small tactical pen light, and I'm like, oh man, that makes a lot of sense, because I don't carry a light with me on a regular basis. And he said, man, once you start carrying a tactical light, you can't believe how often you use it. It's like all of a sudden it seems like everything needs to be lit up. So that's interesting. All right, so this is actually, I believe you mentioned cell phones. Let's look at this next question. This is fascinating. So, and it actually ties in really well with this defending yourself while camping. Skip asked the question, what should you do if you don't have reception on your cell phone and you can't call 911? We all know how important it is to reach out to the authorities as soon as possible. So what do you do?
Well, in the scenarios that we had set up, I would leave. Put the person on the ground, make sure you can get to your, in this case it was a camper you could drive everything away with. If you have a second person there, make sure you keep them under control until they unhitch or hitch or whatever you need to do to just leave the situation instead of standing there for a day.
Yeah, waiting for someone to show
up.
And when Pete says put them on the ground, order them to the ground at gunpoint. Don't get in there and put your hands on them, try to wrestle them to the ground.
Okay.
If you've got to the point where you've got your gun out and you don't really have to shoot them at this point, don't. But at least you have the opportunity. If they want to escalate the fight, then yeah, they're going to escalate the fight. But at gunpoint, give them some orders, down on the ground, face down, look away from me, put your hands out to the side. Get in your vehicle and go. Just get out of there if you don't have any cell coverage. You can replace all of your camping equipment or anything else you need to later. You don't want to get yourself in a situation where you end up getting hurt or killed because you tried to take control of someone physically and you got overpowered and lost your gun.
Excellent advice. Any other comments on that one? I'll move on to the next one because I got another really good question here. This is from James. James says, is defending your tent, hotel room, RV, etc. legally the same as defending your home?
Well, you got to check your local listings for starters, right? And hat tip to Kevin for coming up with that phrase some time ago now. But seriously, you got to check your local listings, know the laws about wherever you are, because it's going to change depending upon where you are as to whether or not your domicile, your residence, what does that count as? Does that count as the place where you're staying for that night, just where you're putting your head down on the pillow? Because does that count as a sleeping bag? Does it have to be some place that you have some sort of contract in, such as, for example, a hotel room or something like that? It's going to change. Generally speaking, obviously any place where you rent or that you own is going to count as a place where maybe if your state is Castle Doctrine, it's some place that you can take advantage of. But some other places, particularly when you start looking at, for instance, in national parks and forest lands and so forth, they're very specific about the fact that a residence cannot be something that's movable. It has to be something that is actually roots in the ground, foundation in the ground. So again, you have to know where you are and understand the fact that a definition in one place may change, and as a result, the laws will change with it. And as a result, you got to know what you're supposed to do and when.
I really want to stress to people too that you should not just look to the Castle Doctrine law as the be-all and end-all in understanding that. The Castle Doctrine law is out there and it does help you, but the idea of using deadly force, you use deadly force against an imminent deadly threat. And if that imminent deadly threat arises, I don't care where it is, then you're absolutely covered to use deadly force if you're facing an imminent deadly threat. The Castle Doctrine law makes things, gives you a little bit more gray area. But if you reasonably believe that your life is in danger or someone else's life is in danger, then forget about the Castle Doctrine law. Handle that problem first.
Excellent.
Yeah, that covers it, I think.
Good answers, guys. Okay, here's another question. This is from two people, Josh and Bill. Do I have to carry concealed or should I carry openly while camping?
I'm going to look at Tom again because I love his answers.
My answer, oh boy, well, that's setting me up here. Well, again, you got to check your local listings because you have to be lawfully carrying, so you have to follow the laws of your particular state, your forest. Keep in mind that generally speaking, when it comes to federal parks, federal forest land, generally speaking, it's a transparent carry through. So for instance, if I'm in a federal forest in Wisconsin, generally speaking, the Wisconsin state laws are going to apply. which means that if you can lawfully carry concealed, then you can lawfully conceal carry. So that then kind of draws us into a much larger question, probably one we're not going to solve tonight, of is it better to open carry versus concealed carry? While I'm not against open carry, I definitely have a strong preference for concealed carry. That would be my personal choice and is my personal choice when I go about carrying. I don't know if anybody else has any other thoughts.
Carolyn, when you set up your guns in the camper, how did you have them there, and how do you keep them?
When we did the training?
Yeah.
We had them in the safe.
And what are you going to do now?
No, they're not going to be in the safe when I'm there.
Yeah.
When I'm gone, they'll be in the safe if I leave the camper. But yeah, they will definitely be easy access. Yeah. And, like with the question that he had, some campgrounds too, like they prohibit firearms and stuff. So at that point, here's a question, are you covered?
Yeah.
If it's not prohibited and you're carrying that concealed carry weapon into that campground.
So if you're coming into a private campgrounds or something like that, and if it's prohibited because it's some sort of private property, well, keep in mind that there's going to be different instances. So for instance, in your case, in our scenario, when you're in the actual RV, it could be that you could lawfully transport and possess at a minimum within that RV.
Right.
There could also be other issues. For instance, maybe if you're a guest and you're joining someone else on the campgrounds, that person could be prohibited. Again, check your local listings depending upon what the laws might be in that particular state. However, it could be that if you, for instance, sign a week-long contract to rent a particular spot or something, under the laws of that state, they may not be allowed to prohibit you. So there's all sorts of ifs, ands, or buts and minutia. Keep in mind as well that if you're camping, particularly if you're RVing, you're going to be driving, I presume, a long distance, probably across state lines. You have to be mindful of interstate transportation issues. You have to be mindful of the fact that you might be going through different states where, for instance, they may have a magazine limit, and maybe you have something with more than 10 rounds, and they have a 10-round capacity limit. So those are all issues to kind of keep in mind and understand and familiarize yourself with what the laws are in those states. A great place to do that is at uscca.com/laws with an S at the end. It's a great, fantastic map to see where your reciprocity for your concealed carry licenses are good at, where they're valid, and get a quick crash course on what the laws look like in different states.
Yeah, and we keep updating those laws just about every week. So we're working our way through again, second time through. I was talking to Bonnie today, and she said, I'm back up to Maine again. So we're coming our way through.
Back through the list.
Yeah. Yep.
That's really turned into such a great resource. I mean, literally, Bonnie, full-time employee, all she does is keep that site up to date.
Yeah, and making sure that the laws are up to date and just tracking them, just keeping an eye on the changes. It's crazy.
And it's impossible to really keep everything. I mean, because keep in mind, some sort of state legislature changes something and goes into effect, April 1st or whatever it might be. So keep in mind, folks, that at the end of the day, the safest and the best thing you can do is always, always, always check the local laws wherever you are. But the concealed carry map, USCCA.com/laws with an S at the end, is a fantastic resource to quickly familiarize yourself and kind of get that boots on the ground knowledge of what am I walking into here.
Yeah, good advice. All right, let's get a few more questions before we move on to the next training video. So here's another good one. This was from John. Is it legal to draw my firearm in defense of my property while on my property, even if I cannot tell if the perpetrator has a weapon? So essentially, we're talking about say you're out, you've got some acreage up north, and there's someone that's on your property. They may or may not know that that's your property, and you just draw a gun on them whether or not they have a weapon.
I'm going to vote no. I want to make sure that drawing a firearm and pointing it at another person or threatening violence, again, we're coming back to the reasonable person standard. Do you reasonably believe that you are in danger? You can use force to prevent interference. That's the legal term, an unlawful interference. So at what point do you need to pull out your gun to prevent that interference? Tom was a prosecutor. I mean, if Pete or I made an arrest of someone who was waving a gun around just at a trespasser, I think we'd have a long talk with our prosecutor as to what was going to happen about that.
And I think that, generally speaking, the laws in most states are exactly what Kevin just outlined. Once more, I have to say it, chant it with me from home, check your local listings, all right? Because the laws are going to vary by minutia, but by and large, you cannot use deadly force to defend stuff. But here's what I want you folks to focus on at home. what constitutes deadly force wherever it is that you're at, because deadly force in one state may just be drawing and clearing the firearm from your holster, and even though you may not be pointing at someone else, deadly force might be it's on your hip and you just say something that could be construed as a deadly threat, even though you haven't even laid a hand on your firearm. Deadly force in another state, maybe you can actually pull out, not just hold at a low ready position, not point at them. That could be deadly force. Maybe it isn't. In another state, you actually have to draw and actually train on them without firing. So the big thing I want you folks to be thinking about is what's deadly force wherever I am at? Because remember, you cannot use deadly force to defend stuff. So you have to know exactly where's that bright line in the sand of deadly force. Because if you cannot use deadly force, I want to know where that line is if I'm going to be thinking about what am I going to be doing, especially if I'm going to be carrying a firearm, because you may be challenged on that line in the heat of the moment, just like Carolyn was, and you're going to want to know, okay, what can I do, what can I not do without ending up in jail someday?
Excellent. Tom, great answer. Thank you very much. All right, guys, I think that's enough questions for this topic. Max has put together another training video. As we all know, when you're out camping, a lot of times it can be at night and you're around a campfire. So here's a training video that helps you address how to handle a threat under the cover of darkness.
So we all know all the problems don't occur during the day. Statistically, you're going to have a problem at night. The best way to deter any problems at night is with a flashlight. I keep several flashlights in my camper so that I have easy access to them from wherever I happen to be at the time. And you can just search around and see what type of, if it's a threat or if it's just the raccoon trying to get into your cooler, you know, for some marshmallows or something. But if you already have your gun out, there's several ways you can use that. You can just search around yet, like normal. Some people attach a flashlight to their weapon, but most people don't check the batteries often enough, so then you just end up with a flashlight that doesn't work. My favorite method is to use my reaction hand to support the weapon. That way I can search the area and still have a stable platform, and looking at the area or searching the area without pointing my weapon at what I'm looking at.
Okay, Max, interesting video. Thanks for putting that together. Let's do some more questions now. And going to topic 2, surviving the aftermath. So first question, should you restrain or hold someone at gunpoint until police arrive if you have the ability to?
Well, as a private citizen, I'm not putting my hands on anybody. I'll hold them at gunpoint, and if they decide to run away, fine, great, fight's over, I'm safe, they ran away. So I don't want to encourage any of our members or viewers or future members or anybody like that to put their hands on anybody unless they absolutely have to. At that distance, you never know how good of a fighter they are, how strong they are, anything like that. So yeah, if you're holding them at gunpoint and they're going to stay put and wait for the police to arrive, great, hold them at gunpoint and see how it goes from there. But that's a very dangerous situation, pointing a gun at somebody and holding them at gunpoint. If they start making some sudden movements and you get scared and you shoot and you didn't have to, you're going to be talking to Tom on one way or another. So.
Yeah, and each situation is going to be so different. You know, how far away are the responding officers? How many other people in the campground are there to come and give you a hand? I know from experience that holding a gun on somebody for any length of time, you're so jacked up that you get exhausted really fast if you don't remember to breathe and try and relax in that situation. So there's a lot of factors in there, and the best is to get away yourself, or if you're in a place where officers are going to show up relatively quickly, then sure, hold them there. But like Kevin said, if they get up and run, let them go. Just get a good description.
Okay, great advice. Say, back to the flashlight video that we just watched. Pete, you gave some great advice in terms of, you know, or ways to hold the light with your supporting hand. Any other tips or tricks in terms of maybe flashlight selection, or you know, do you need to spend? I mean, sometimes you can spend $150, $200. Is that required, or?
No, I wouldn't say required. I want the brightest flashlight that I can get for the size, and I like a flashlight that's between 4 and 5 inches long, that's easy to hang on to with one hand, but still fits in my pocket. I actually just did a video review of a new flashlight with the operating switch on the front side, so you can hold it almost in a firing grip if you're going to shoot two-handed.
Oh, wow.
There's lots of cool different flashlight models out there. Pick one that feels comfortable to you and that you can learn how to operate. I hate a flashlight with 7 different switches on the back end that puts me through, strobing and flashing and dimming, and nope, I want my flashlight on or off. That's it.
I get mine from the dollar store, and have a ton of them.
Yeah.
There's probably 20 in my camper right now, and so you always have one. You always know where one is, and just keep rotating them through so you know the batteries are good.
Yeah, that's great advice, Pete. And the cool thing is that nowadays with LED technology, I mean, yeah, for a couple bucks you can get a really nice bright light, and like the lithium-ion batteries that look like AAA's.
Yeah.
I mean, man, that's a great invention as well because they're relatively inexpensive. So, Carolyn, will you guys change your tactical flashlight protocol in the motorhome? Have you?
We have flashlights. We've always carried flashlights.
Oh, good.
We of course go to the mega box store and buy them bulk, and
Excellent.
throw quite a few in the camper.
Good.
Because you never know if you're going to be out of power in campers and stuff, so it's kind of automatic to just...
Or the kids lose them, or the
have
neighbor
the
needs one,
flashlights.
or just get them from the dollar store and just...
Okay, good advice. All right, back to the other questions on surviving the aftermath. Here's another question that just got sent in. Tim, what are the chances I will be investigated or arrested after a self-defense incident with my firearm?
Can I answer that one?
Yes, sir.
100%. It's 100% that you're going to be investigated.
Yeah.
As to the arrest, it's different. If it's deadly force and someone died, it's a homicide until it's ruled justifiable or not. But regardless, it's a homicide, and you are going to get talked to.
Yeah. I tell people all the time that 4-hour, self-defense or concealed carry class that you took, if you ever use your gun, the investigation is going to last much longer than 4 hours that you put in on there. So yes, you will be investigated. You'll probably be investigated if you even just draw your gun and then call the police. They're going to come and ask questions because honestly, for cops, it's much easier to ask questions when someone hangs around to answer them. And that's what good people do. Bad guys run away. We got to go look for them then. But the good people hang around at the campsite and wait for us to come ask questions. So we're going to investigate.
Yeah.
It's absolutely going to happen, and you're going to wish that you took a lot more than 4 hours of training. I mean, candidly, you're going to wish that you did. You're going to be replaying every moment of that concealed carry class over and over and over. You're going to be talking over to friends and family, and you're going to be saying, like many of my clients have, I wish I was this engaged, and I wish I got this into it before the incident rather than trying to play Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah, good advice. Okay, next question, folks. Tom, I suspect you're going to jump on this one right away. If I were charged with a firearm-related offense, could I have a public defender represent me in court, and would they be able to defend me adequately?
Well, obviously, for starters, that's going to depend upon eligibility for criteria for the public defender. You can't just sign up for a public defender. You have to be legally indigent. Good news, bad news. If you're employed, you probably are not legally indigent. So, which means you'll probably have to, one way, shape, or form, come up with what will likely be a 5-figure sum to retain a qualified, experienced defense attorney to represent you. And will they do a good job? I mean, honestly, it's going to depend upon public defender to public defender. The best public defenders are still going to have, unfortunately, crushing caseloads. And if you think that they're always going to be able to respond to your phone calls, emails, questions, if you think that they're going to have necessarily all the resources at their fingertips to bring on trainers, to bring in experts, to consult all these sorts of folks, look, there's a lot of different public defender offices. It varies widely from state to state and even office to office. Some of them are fantastic. They're almost always staffed by very dedicated folks, but they're very dedicated and overworked folks. It's not exactly the option that maybe I would lean towards under the best of circumstances. And that's not a knock on the great men and women who are public defenders. It's just a recognition of their crushing caseloads.
Well,
but the bottom line is it may not be an option for you because, again, you have to be legally indigent. So this isn't sign up for rec league basketball at the Y if I'm just going to sign up for a public defender. You got to legally qualify.
Excellent. Good answer. Thank you, Tom. Next question, similar lines. Tim, if questioned following a self-defense incident, how do I best cooperate with law enforcement questioning requirements while still maintaining my privacy and constitutional protections? So I actually kind of pre-read that question while you were answering yours, and this is I'm going to give the attempt to answer that first, and the police officers and attorneys can jump in. But this is my very own USCCA card. You can see my name on it, Tim Schmidt. Weirdly, my member number isn't 1. I'm not sure why. But on the back of the card actually lists the exact instructions on what to say to a responding officer. Number 1, comply. Follow all police instructions and be kind about it. Number 2, explain. I was attacked, feared for my life, and I had to defend myself. Identify. Point out evidence, witnesses, and the attacker. Request medical attention if necessary. And silence. Silence meaning I will cooperate 100%, but first I need to speak with my attorney. So I think the key there is don't be a jerk. Be as nice as you can to responding officers, and you'll be fine. Any other feedback on that, guys?
I don't know about Pete, but my favorite saying is, I know my rights. And, you may know some of them, but, they sort of pay the people out there on patrol to know what we're doing. And we try to do a really good job, but understand we're coming into this situation not knowing anything else that's going on. We've got a call from the dispatcher, and that's where you go, and then you figure out what's going on when you get there. I love the idea of someone saying, yep, I will make a full and complete statement after I talk to my attorney. Okay, I'm feeling better about that.
But Kevin and I both know officers that are going to get irritated with that.
Yep.
They're just out there because they want to figure it out.
Yep.
They want to figure it out right now. And that puts the brakes on it, which is good for you if you're involved. But just be kind, be considerate, but don't give up your rights.
Right. I think that's really key, is that you can be insistent, like, look, guys, I want to be as cooperative as possible, and I'm not trying to cause troubles, but I can't talk until I get with my attorney.
And there are a few things that any officer arriving on the scene would like to hear. The bad guy was wearing a black hoodie and ran that way. Okay, that at least helps them, start the investigation or something like that. If you are someone who was attacked and then the officer shows up and you're like, I'm not saying anything until I talk to my lawyer, you're not really helping the investigation. Right. At the same time, there's going to be people who are watching who are upset with that statement telling us you should never say anything to the cops. And when we don't have to read you your rights until we're asking guilt-seeking questions. So, and a lot of people don't understand that. They just watch TV and they decide that they're going to yell at us on scene because they know better than us.
And you have to pre-plan some of this because you're going to be jacked up with adrenaline too. Regardless if you used your weapon or not, you're going to be mad. If it was a fight, you're going to be mad. And people think that once the fight's over, you're done being mad. That's not how the human body works. You stay mad for a really long time. Yeah. And sometimes as an officer, I would arrive wanting to help, but this person's still fighting mad. Yeah. So breathe, try and get yourself under control before you start talking.
Just anecdotally, one of the fun things about being a former state prosecutor and criminal defense attorney and being at the largest criminal defense law firm in the state is we have all sorts of different clients from really all walks of life. The majority of our clients are good people who had a bad day, and I truly do mean that. However, there's two different ends of a spectrum here. On the one end are the folks who think that if they're ever involved in any kind of incident, I'm going to 100% answer any question that the officers put to me, no matter what, because I know that if I just put all the chips out there on the table. That is the opposite reaction from a different type of client we have, and that's the clients who are actually law enforcement officers. We have any number of sheriff's deputies, of officers, both from Wisconsin and elsewhere, and I have a very different conversation with them when I'm in the prospective client intake, and it goes something like this. Oh, you're an officer at so-and-so location, great. So, dumb question, did you answer any of the questions that the cops asked you? They laugh, I laugh, they say no, and then we move on. As opposed to when I'm talking with somebody, I hate to say it, but somebody from the suburbs who really wants to cooperate and just give law enforcement everything, I'll be sometimes combative with them and saying, no, you have to raise your rights, you have to do this. I realize that they're calling you and they want you to come in today at 3 o'clock for a meeting. don't do it. Don't go there. And they're arguing with me. So just keep in mind that even the law enforcement officers, as you have heard here tonight, they know what this is, and they understand, in my experience, if their friends, family, or loved ones are in trouble, or they themselves are in trouble, they are never going to be going in and answering all those guilt-seeking questions. They will give the description of where the guy went. They will, of course, comply with the initial unseen directions to make sure that they're not perceived as a threat, so they don't get shot by law enforcement, so the good guys don't shoot the good guys here. But you got to remember that this is the way law enforcement works when they are being investigated or their friends and family are being investigated. So please take a lesson from that. It's not anti-police to raise your rights. Law enforcement has taken an oath to serve and protect, to protect the Constitution as well. You are doing nothing other than utilizing your rights that they go out every day, day in, day out, and put their lives on the line to serve and protect that Constitution as well.
Great. Tom, great perspective. Thanks for that. All right, guys, I think that's enough questions for now. Let's move on to the next phase of this evening, which is the selection of our very first gun winner. Now, as those of you who have watched live training broadcasts before, you all know that I love to give guns away, mostly because I'm just that nice of a guy. And we're giving, I'm just joking, we're giving away three Glock 19s. These are brand new Glocks. They're beautiful guns. Of course, I'm partial to Glock handguns. They're not necessarily all that pretty, but they certainly work well. And so, drum roll please. I believe Max is going to be handing me the magic envelope. Number one. So, the winner of the first Glock 19 first name is Dudley, and his email starts with, is that DVB? The letter is DVB, Delta Victor Bravo. So if your first name is Dudley and your email starts with DVB, you just won a brand new Glock 19. The USCCA team will be reaching out to you to let you know how that whole process works. I'm not actually sure how it works, but I know that someone in this room does. So congratulations, and now it's time to move on to another training video, and we're going to do a short training video on some tips for storing your gun when you travel.
So Scott and Carolyn, the scenario you were in was placed in a campground. Mm-hmm. So what you have to remember is that every campground, the rules are different. Every state has different rules on where and when you can carry. So it's important to know where you're going to store your weapon if you can't carry it with you. So what I would recommend is a gun safe you would have it bolted down in a centrally located position so that when you're accessing the weapon, you can keep your eye on the door. Mm-hmm. It's important that you be able to get into it quickly and easily. So a key is kind of more difficult under high stress situations. You can lose them, or you're fumbling around to even get it into the keyhole. So I prefer either the combination or the biometrics, so that you don't lose the key. It's always there, easily to get into. But again, you want it bolted down in a centrally located area so you can keep your eyes on the door. Some people like to have a secondary safe near their bed so that at night they can access their weapon over there. But if you're in the campground, around the campfire, and you need to get to your weapon quickly, it's better to have it centrally located so you don't have to run from one end to the camper to the other, to get the key and then open it up, that type of thing.
Okay, so those were some great tips on storing your gun. And even though I just gave away our first gun, I will be giving away the second gun in a little bit. But before we do that, let's answer some more questions. The questions we're going to be talking about now revolve around understanding the Second Amendment and ultimately protecting your rights. So first one, and I don't think this was a plant, but no, none of the questions are planted, I promise. Question is, where can I find information on concealed carry laws for my state?
Were they not listening? USCCA.com/laws with an S at the end.
With an S.
With an S at the end.
So I mentioned this before, but I really got to hand it out to your team. So I believe Bonnie when did she start this project?
Probably 6 months ago.
Yeah, so 6 months ago, and she did such an amazing job. I believe the original target was to get like all 50 states completely built out in like 8 months, and she did it in half the time.
Yeah.
And so I suspect Bonnie is probably watching this right now, so hopefully I'm not embarrassing you too much. But I gotta tell you, she did such a great job, and she has such amazing attention to detail. And there's even this little part where you can check your state, and like every week or so, there'll be a little spot that'll show like, the latest update was this. So you don't have to search the whole page. It'll tell you exactly what the updates are. So it's a really great place to really stay on top of your state's laws.
And people can also download the USCCA app and get that same information from the reciprocity map right on the USCCA app. So.
Yep.
Where can they go to get the app?
At the App Store, Apple Store, and or Google Play. So. Put me on the spot, huh? All right,
you got it, though. You nailed it, right?
Where do you get apps? I ask my kids where you get them.
Yeah.
Ask your kids, right?
Max will know.
Here's another great question, guys. What will happen if you are caught with a weapon in a gun-free zone, but you are defending yourself from harm? I'll let you guys answer this, but however, this was almost the exact very first concealed carry self-defense situation in Wisconsin after Wisconsin passed concealed carry.
Yeah.
And so in that situation, I actually interviewed the fella in our old office, and you know, it was a great story for him. So
yeah, and you know, what's the old saying that if you're using your gun legally, the fact that you had your gun is the least of your worries. But if you're using it illegally, the fact that you had it there is again the least of your worries.
Right.
So if you're facing a true imminent deadly threat and you use your firearm and you protect yourself, chances are pretty good you're probably not going to get, run afoul of well, he shouldn't have been here with that gun. But again, it depends on where you are. The folks in New Jersey and Massachusetts might just decide to throw the book at you.
Yeah, it's really going to vary. And keep in mind, one of the most difficult conversations I have to have with clients as well is that it's going to vary wildly, even within a state. I assure you that law enforcement, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong here, but law enforcement from a big city area is going to work very differently, and the justice system will function very differently than from a more rural area, and then different shades in between. This suburb to the west of the big city may work very differently than this suburb to the south of the big city, which is different than the big city. So keep in mind that even though these are the laws for your state, and this is how you hear they might work in this particular spot, that might be different for where you are and where the incident may go down. Those are all different things to keep in mind. But am I wrong with that? That it varies from within the state?
Absolutely. From department to department, depending on the chief or the sheriff and what their perspective is on it, depending on the district attorney or the city's attorney and how forceful they want those things enforced. Frontline cops, they're going to take their lead from the guys above them. And from the experiences they have, when you have big city officers dealing anything with a gun, they're going to come down a lot harder than, say, guys on Wapaka County Sheriff's Department that we deal with people carrying guns at night to shoot raccoons or squirrels, or we run into guns almost as often, but in completely different circumstances.
Yeah,
great points.
We have officer discretion when we're out there and we're dealing with people, and there's prosecutorial discretion when the prosecutor decides what my report happened to say and how he interpreted that and what's going to happen. And he's looking at what might be the elements of the offense and all of the stuff that goes into there. They hammered it into my brain, the totality of the circumstances. We have to look at the totality of the circumstances.
And speaking from experience as a defense attorney that crawls all over the state of Wisconsin, and we have big city urban metro problems and all the way out to the countryside. I can tell you, this is the voice of experience, folks, that you're going to, exactly what Pete said, exactly what Kevin's saying, the enforcement is going, and the perspectives and attitudes are going to vary wildly from one county to the next, from one department to the other, from one district attorney's office to the other, and even within certain counties. One particular judge may be very much pro-gun, the other one not so much, and same thing goes for different prosecutors, as crazy as it might be. There's so many variables, but at the end of the day, you've got to focus on what you can control, which is your training, your knowledge, and you have to control your own actions so that you're comporting the best you can to survive the incident by following your training and doing so by following the laws.
Excellent. Good feedback, guys. One of the things that really excites me about the evolution of these live training broadcasts is that we're getting more and more people who are relatively new to firearms ownership, and they're using these videos, these broadcasts we're putting together here as a way to kind of dip their toe in the water and make that decision whether or not they want to be or live that responsibly armed lifestyle, which to me is fantastic. I mean, that's part of our mission. So these next couple of questions are just right on point with some folks that are brand new. Here's the question: what should I say to someone who doesn't believe you should be allowed to own or carry a firearm for self-defense?
Get out of my house.
Yeah, that's a don't bring that one up in a bar.
Yeah.
That's going to start a fight. Yeah. And it's hard to explain the Second Amendment to people who haven't been around guns. Like I grew up using weapons and all kinds of experiences with different types of weapons. And to somebody who hasn't had that experience and doesn't realize it's just a tool, it's a big scary thing, it's hard to convince them that you have that God-given right. It's in the Constitution.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have a difficult time trying to explain to people that I personally believe that freedom is a dangerous thing and that freedom is more important than absolute safety. And you can't convince people that we're never going to be able to go out and scoop up all of the guns and take them away from just the bad guys, you know. But at the same token, I tell people, you know, if you're planning on having a gunfight on Wednesday, I'm not going to be there. I don't want to be involved in that. My firearm is the last resort for the last thing I'm going to reach for when I know that I have to save my life. And some people, I just can't get through to them about that.
I was fearful and didn't want guns in the house.
Wow.
No place around
Wow.
until Chris joined USCCA.
Oh, really?
And my husband had his guns, and then finally I took that step, and I'm like, you know, the way things are going, things are getting worse, and I wanted to know how to protect myself because I travel up north by myself, and I'm like, I need to learn this. And once I learned it, that fear factor went right out the door.
Yeah.
A whole different mindset.
Yeah, that's a great point. And from my experience, when talking about firearms ownership or a person not believing in I guess, whether it's right or wrong or that we have the right, typically those arguments are based in some sort of irrational emotion. That, now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, I mean, it's an irrational emotion, but it's real for them, right? Because maybe it came from their parents, maybe it came from some crazy experience. And so the best way to connect with those people is with emotion, right? You can't use logic. It'll just never break through that emotion. And so my tactic will be to attempt to emotionally connect with them. Like, well, what if you're in a situation, if you're in a parking lot and all of a sudden there are 3 guys that were going to attack you and you're with your daughter? You know, and if you had the choice that the previous 6 months you had decided to get your concealed carry permit and get well trained and you were confident, or just leave it up to the 911 phone call, which would you choose? You know, because now you're connecting with, and you're going to kind of put them in that corner and like, okay, well maybe I would. I'd like to have a gun.
Yeah.
And so that's, I mean, from my experience, it's worked well a little bit. Not always.
It's not, for me, it's not a matter of disarming the attackers, right? Because the attackers are the attackers. They're the predators. They're the ones that choose where, when, and how the attack takes place. And they're not going to choose what they think is going to be an even fight. They're going to pick on, just like in nature, just like in National Geographic, they're going to go after what they think is going to be easy prey, an easy mark, which means that they're going to go after folks who are older, they're going to go after women, they're going to go after people who maybe are really young. Even if you're a healthy, robust male in the prime of your life, great. How about 5 versus 1 odds, right? Nobody's immune to the laws of attrition. Nobody's immune to just basic math at one point. There's an expression I'm fond of, and that's that God created man, but Sam Colt made them all equal, right? When we talk about taking firearms away, what we're doing is we're not talking about making the world a safer place against bad guys. We're talking about making the world a safer place for bad guys, because the predators are still going to keep attacking. They're still going to have their numbers. They're still going to have their knife, their baseball bat, even if somehow, some way, you honestly think that you're going to be able to take a gun out of that guy's hand, which you won't. And I think that, unfortunately, tragedies around the world, not here in the United States, but countries where bad guys use horrible outcomes and they used horrible methods in order to arrive at whatever it is that they were trying to do, and they used illegal weapons in those countries, and they used them, and they got their hands on them despite the laws. And if you think that making something illegal gets rid of it, take a look at our drugs on the streets, right? But at the end of the day, really what we're doing is we're just disarming the victims. That's what this is about. We're giving people a chance to fight back who maybe wouldn't have stood a chance because, you know, they're my mom. You know, they're in their 70s, they have some handicap issues, and she has no chance one-on-one against anyone. There may be me, there may be you, there's somebody who's outnumbered 5-1 and they're just trying to get themselves and their family into the parking lot and into their car to go home after watching a movie at the end of the night. So again, it's about not taking predators off the street. We can't do that. This is about making sure that victims have the ability to fight back and protect themselves.
Awesome, Tom. Great perspective on all of that. Okay, let's keep moving here, guys. It's time to pull our second gun winner. And while Max is about to hand me that envelope, I just want to remind everyone that, you know, obviously we're here to train and inform and teach y'all. But also this, you know, we do this on purpose. This is we try to orchestrate the perfect ideal time to start start your USCCA membership, become part of the USCCA family. And one of the ways we do that is my marketing team puts together a really exceptional package worth of bonuses. Some of it is equipment, some of it is knives, some of it is training. And we do that because I realize that some people just kind of need a little bit of a nudge to do something that they know it will be good for their family and ultimately for their safety and protection. So anyway, so yeah, don't forget those bonuses are going to expire late tonight. So if you're going to become a USCCA member, now is the time to do it. Okay, let's do that second winner here. And the winner is, first name is Ed, and the email starts with ED.C, right? Okay, so once again, if your name is Ed and your email starts with ed.c, that's Echo Delta Charlie, then you just won a Glock 19, so congratulations. Max will be getting in touch with you to let you know how to claim your gun. Okay, so the next thing is we're going to be watching another video that's extra exciting. So probably 4 years ago, I believe, was the first time that we decided to put on a Concealed Carry Expo, which is essentially our very own event. And the first place we did it was in West Bend, Wisconsin, which ironically is where we also have our headquarters. And it was a huge success. I think we had 2,500 attendees, maybe 50 or 60 companies had booths. Well, let me tell you, last year we did it in Louisville, Tennessee. I believe that's Louisville, Kentucky. And there were over 15,000 attendees, I think over 150 booths. It was a huge success. Well, this year it's going to be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Boy, my state, the whole thing isn't quite dialed in. But it's going to be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it's going to be in May. And check out this highlight reel of the upcoming USCCA Concealed Carry Expo.
Welcome to the USCCA's Concealed Carry Expo, the #1 destination for American gun owners. Every single year, we come together like this to celebrate the successes we've had and reaffirm our commitment to our cause and our beliefs. Look around you today. Truly experience the family you have here. Enjoy it. Reconnect, because this is your community. This is where we come together as responsibly armed Americans, confident in the knowledge that your right to protect the people you love and your rights to liberty are inalienable. They cannot be taken away from a free people, not while we stand together as a community like we do now.
It's amazing to me that all of us can get together and literally have the ability to change people's lives. And I gotta tell you guys, the USCCA is hands down the best group of people that I've ever been around.
This show is fantastic. It's just an amazing assembly of people, of concepts, of training, of vendors.
Oh my goodness, this just far exceeded our expectations. This has been the most amazing show for us.
All right, ready middle, ready lift, commence firing. I'd say this is a fantastic show. It's been non-stop flow of traffic.
I've been at this show since year one, and I see it growing every year. And this year it's huge.
It was just really fantastic. We had the opportunity to connect with a lot of the USCCA members and folks coming in from around the region.
There's more than 200 booths out here, but there's all sorts of guns and holsters and concealed carry material, all that kind of stuff.
When we call this the #1 destination for American gun owners, this is what we mean. So no matter where you came from, today you're surrounded by family. Thank you for being a part of that family, and please join us again May 17th through the 19th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
You know, last year's USCCA Concealed Carry Expo really was amazing. But this year it's going to be better than ever. Now you can get your tickets right now while you're watching this live training. Just text LIVE, that's L-I-V-E, to 87222. You should see that on the screen right now. I'm talking about thousands of responsibly armed Americans, access to free live fire range, expert trainers, and hundreds of booths with the best guns and gear. That's why we call it the #1 destination for American gun owners. This is our chance to come together as a community, and I can't wait to see you there this year. Plus, if you like this Proving Ground training, we'll be doing another live Proving Ground training at the Expo. People have been asking for this for a long time, so here it is, your chance to finally see how we make this training happen. We'll also have a panel of experts on hand to review past Proving Ground scenarios. Trust me, you guys, you do not want to miss the USCCA Expo. All right, we're almost ready to draw that last gun winner. But before we do, I want to give you another quick reminder that you still have time to claim tonight's special bonuses. When you upgrade or activate your Elite membership right now, you'll get that $509 bonus package with the $50 Kershaw knife 100% free. Now you'll also lock in that bonus life-saving training package worth $94. It includes some of our best training for handling life-threatening injuries like gunshot wounds. You should see all of that on the screen right now, and it's all backed by my 100% bulletproof money-back guarantee. Zero risk, all reward, and you'll instantly start enjoying all of the benefits of USCCA membership. Just remember, those free bonuses end at midnight tonight. All right, folks, I hope you're as excited about the USCCA Concealed Carry Expo as I am, so please be sure you go to that thing. All right, it's almost time to select the third gun winner, and but before I do that, I need to tell you, share with something that really is coming from my heart. I'm going to make a request. I'm asking you to become a USCCA member now. And here's what this will look like. First of all, as I've mentioned a few times tonight, you're going to get instant access to all of your USCCA membership benefits. Not only that, but you'll get all of the bonuses that we've been talking about all night. And not only that, but within a few days, you'll get your very own USCCA membership card. You can put this thing right in your wallet. It has all the instructions right on the back. This is your instant access to all of the amazing benefits. Now, of course, there are many reasons why people join the USCCA. But here are 3 reasons that you should join right now. Reason number 1, you'll be joining a community of like-minded Americans who actually share your beliefs. I mean, guys, being the protector of your family, I mean, this is a journey. And the USCCA community and I will be your guide on this journey. Reason number 2, your membership is backed by my 100% money-back, bulletproof money-back guarantee. I'm talking zero risk and all reward. I am so convinced that USCCA membership is right for you that if you decide to join tonight, you're going to get all those bonuses. And if you decide that, you know what, it's just not right, I want you to keep all the bonuses. That's how committed I am. And reason number 3, you'll finally enjoy the confidence and the control that comes with knowing that you have the best education, training, and legal protection that money can buy. And those are the 3 reasons that I'm asking you to become a USCCA member right now. All you got to do is click the button below, or you can call our member services team. They're downstairs waiting for you right now. It's 877-677-1919. I'm looking forward to you joining the USCCA family today, guys. All right, it's time to finally draw that last gun winner. Max, whenever you're ready, you can hand over the envelope. Hopefully your penmanship improved since the last one. Oh, yes, I can read it. So, the third and final winner of the brand new Glock 19 is first name Jack, J-A-C-K, Jack. His email, so there's probably a bunch of people named Jack that are watching this right now and you're thinking, oh, here we go. But now is where the winnowing occurs. The email starts with J-E-K. That's Juliet Echo Kilo. So if your name's Jack and it starts with J-E-K, congratulations, you won the third gun. Okay, so I know that we've got a few more, time for a few more questions. So let's jump down to the questions right now, guys. Let's see here, first one up. This is a follow-up on an earlier question. Says, I've heard that you are not supposed to hold a person at gunpoint until the cops come, because the cops will shoot and ask questions later. What do you do for that? That's a great question.
No.
Cops will shoot.
They'll start ordering you to do stuff, and I highly recommend you follow those orders quickly and efficiently, and they'll sort it out. They won't just roll up, jump out of the car, and start shooting. At least they're not supposed to. That's not the training they get. So just follow the orders. They're going to be shouting. You're going to be excited. There'll be some auditory exclusion. That means where you don't hear as well because you have so much adrenaline running through your body. So remember to breathe. That kind of goes away as long as you keep breathing. Get oxygen to your system, and then listen for it. You'll see the red lights. You'll hear the sirens. You know it's coming, and as soon as you hear that first order, just follow it, whatever it is. It could be a variation of several things they want you to do. If there's more than one officer yelling at you, which is a possibility, try and listen to one and do what that one guy says, and you should come out okay.
Yeah, when we see a question like this, and cops don't shoot first and ask questions later. I mean, there have been some incidents that have made the news where things have gone wrong, but a police officer on a scene is hesitant to fire his gun because we know exactly what's going to happen when you fire your gun, and that means everybody, if you're working night shift, they're going to wake up everybody if you're out there shooting your gun. So we want to make sure that we end things without violence. So yeah, we're going to arrive on scene and give commands, and it's going to be drop your gun and walk backwards and do whatever it is that we tell you to do.
Okay. All right. Good answers, guys. That sounds a lot better than the way the questioner put it. I'm glad that it's not standard protocol for cops to show up and start shooting and ask questions later. So next question here is from Stuart. This is a great question, by the way. If you have fired upon an attacker and severely injured them and they are incapacitated, is it wise to render first aid?
I'm going to say no. My vote on this one is that you're really under no moral obligation to render first aid. You don't know how seriously that person is injured. You don't know if getting close to that person, one, exposes you to other danger. If they decide they're going to attack you, they're not really hurt that bad. Two, we get bloodborne pathogen training all the time. You don't want to get up there and be getting unknown blood on you or anything like that. And three, what level is your training? What help can you really provide? If that person was such a danger to you that you had to use deadly force to stop them, then call 911 and get help on the way and make sure you protect yourself. Don't get in there and get too close to that person because you never know what's going to happen.
And you don't know who else was with them. I mean, as we were talking about, in my experience as a prosecutor, and I'm sure if you guys have anything different, but I suspect you won't, that oftentimes when you have deadly force encounters and things like this, if you have a home invasion, virtually every home invasion that I've been involved with legally, there's been multiple folks. One guy's going in, two guys going in, one guy's in the getaway car, something like that. So, yeah, all right, you shot the one guy, he's down. What about his buddy holding the knife right around the corner? So that's just something, excellent. I would just add to that of, look, that's the one thing I'd be really concerned about is, all right, I'm going to be focusing all my attention on this. What's happening 5 feet to my left?
Excellent. Here's another good question. This is from Jerry. Jerry says, what are good weapons of opportunity? And I think let's try to address this question from the context of camping. Should make it easier.
Okay.
There's so much. Everybody has a fire poker. There's grill lids. There's chairs. There's
pepper spray.
Pepper spray.
If you have your pepper spray with you, anything you can get your hands on. The only thing that I let people know when I'm training them is that all those things can be taken away from you. So you have to be proficient with using what they can't. They can't take your hands from you. They can't take your knees from you or your feet. So I always recommend some type of boxing or mixed martial arts training. Or it's good to stay fit. It helps all around. Whenever you're involved in these situations, but it also gives you those tools to also use if you have to.
I really like Clint Smith from Thunder Ranch, who said, grab a fire extinguisher and spray him with the white foam and hit him with a metal tube. So pretty much anything that is going to cause increase your level of impact. Obviously, you can't use something soft as a weapon of opportunity. But if you can get your hands on something to hit someone with, by all means, if you need to do that to stop the threat, whatever you can get your hands on and smack them with, go ahead and do that.
Another question just came in that's kind of a follow-up to the weapon of opportunity. The question says, is the court case against me different for using a weapon of opportunity as compared to using a gun?
Well, it depends. What was the weapon of opportunity? If it was your axe that you're using to split firewood with, I think they're going to be using that, or the courts are going to be considering that basically as deadly weapon, deadly force. So they're going to be looking at it as some sort of deadly force encounter. And also, if you used a firearm and if you hit your target, you certainly used something that was intended to create deadly force or great bodily harm, depending upon the wording in your particular state. So you're going to be looking at a certain class of charges. I'd imagine that, depending upon your state, likewise, if you hit somebody with the sharp end of an axe to their chest, I'd imagine that you're going to be prosecuted in a very similar fashion. At the end of the day, if you're going to be using something that's going to constitute and rise to the level of deadly force, you better make sure that you're justified to do so.
Yeah, we're only allowed to use enough force to stop the threat. We can use any amount of force that we need to stop the threat, but no more. And they're going to judge what you did by the reasonable person standard. Was it reasonable for someone who simply refused to get up off your park bench? Was it reasonable for you to hit them with an axe? No, that reasonable standard applies across the board, regardless of what weapon you use. And as soon as the threat stops, you have to stop using force. You can't hit them 2 or 3 extra times just to make sure that they stay down. You have to stop using force the instant the threat stops.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, good answers, guys. So I got to tell a quick story. So being the president and founder of the USCCA, I often get asked about the business, about the association and how it works. And one of the aspects of USCCA membership that I'm not going to say most proud of, but very proud of, is the USCCA Law Network. We have over 1,000 lawyers that cover every single state, every single large city, and these lawyers are a lot like Tom. Now, I do give a lot of compliments to Tom. They're probably not as great a personality and as well spoken as Tom, but of course now there's all the attorneys that are watching as well.
Watching the numbers plummet.
They're all jerks, yeah.
But in all seriousness, guys, think of this: over 1,000 lawyers all across the United States who are pro Second Amendment, understand self-defense, understand the USCCA perspective, understand our mission, and they're literally waiting for members to need help. And you just get a taste of that when you listen to Tom Grieve here, and so it's just something that I'm so proud of, and I also know that my fellow USCCA members appreciate that as well. So to that end, I know, Tom, is there a way that folks that are watching this now can learn more about your law firm and connect with you? How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. So, folks, part of my pleasure of being here is obviously helping things out and keeping the ball rolling with the mission of making sure that everybody becomes intelligently trained and have the knowledge to make sure that, frankly, you don't become a client. It also helps us to help me be here. If folks can leave us some positive reviews online, this really means a lot for my whole team of attorneys and staff. It really goes a long way. To do so is very basic, very easy. Just Google Grieve Law, G-R-I-E-V-E, Grieve Law. We're based in Milwaukee, we're based in Waukesha County, we're based in Wisconsin. And you know that little box that pops up with, it's called Google My Business and shows you how many stars and reviews. If you could just take a moment, it's absolutely free. Just takes about 30 seconds. Leave us a 5-star review if you could. Keep in mind it's the internet. 4 stars out of 5 is kind of a failing grade, so I'd ask that if you got any kernel of knowledge, if you got any kernel of wisdom or anything, if I may be so humble, please, please, please take a moment of your time and leave a 5-star review and let us know what you thought. It really goes a long way for myself, for all of the team. It really means a lot to us, and I do take the time to read every single one of them. So thank you in advance.
Excellent. Great, Tom. Thank you. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, I think we're getting close to the end here. And so first of all, I just want to thank all of you viewers for taking the time out of your evening to watch this training. Hopefully you picked up on some new information, learned some new stuff. I'm sure that we try to provide as much value as possible. So hopefully that happened. Secondly, I hope that if you came into this evening and are not part of the USCCA family yet, and you thought to yourself, well, maybe this is an organization that I want to check out, I hope that we push you over the edge and you'll decide to join the USCCA family tonight. There really isn't going to be a better time to do it than right now, and I look forward to welcoming you as a brand new USCCA member. Next thing, I just want to say thank you to the entire crew of Delta Defense team members that run the whole USCCA, that are working late here, volunteering to stay late and make this production happen. Our entire member service team is just packed down on the phones, and I believe we have over 70 folks that are manning the chat. That's how the chat questions get answered so quickly. So to all of you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thanks to the whole video and audio team who are right on studio with us and giving us all of our cues and making us look good, which I realize is not an easy job. So thank you to you guys as well. One more reminder. Let's see here. I have to give Elite and Platinum USCCA members a reminder that the Ask an Attorney webinar, which is with this dude, I believe, right? That will be Thursday at 5:15 p.m. Central. So with that, I believe that we're getting close to wrapping it up. So again, don't forget, if you're going to become that USCCA member, now's the time to do it, to get all the huge bonuses. It's over $600 in bonuses if you join at the elite level. Man, now's the time to do it. Don't forget that bulletproof guarantee. It just makes a lot of sense. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, Max, but I believe we're going to go down to member services and check out some live streaming video or something cool about member services. And you're going to get a little glimpse of just what goes on here at the USCCA headquarters. So from myself and all of my folks here up, guys, thanks again for doing this. Thanks for Carolyn for committing your time and energy. Pete, really appreciate it. Kevin, thank you. Tom, thanks as well. So that's it for me, folks. Take care and stay safe, and let's take her down to member services.
Hey guys, I'm Bobby with the USCCA's award-winning member services team. Our phone number is 877-677-1919. We have over 75 people here tonight to take your calls, your chats, your emails, any question you might have about us, and to get that special offer tonight only. Things are really starting to pick up though, so I got to get back to taking your calls. Again, our phone number is 877-677-1919. Hope to hear from you soon tonight. Thank you for calling the USCCA. This is Bobby. How may I help you?
Oh my goodness. You would think, but wow. You got it in an email from us?
As far as the information goes, you'll be able to get logged on to your account.
Oh man. Does he call you then, Victoria, and say, look at this, here I am, stuff in my
Okay. Yeah, well, definitely. I will know what your account is today. And then it's, yeah.
Or you can always go to the complimentary. Right.
Winner of the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield for $549. Yeah, I mean, so you should actually have gotten an email where you can just print out the W-9. So all we need is you to send it back, and we'll send you out the check. So I'll make a note that we got a hold of you here.
Okay.
And then, where do you live? Where are you from?
Okay, I haven't charged anything yet for that. $247.59. And then I'm bringing up the book here for you.
I'm excited to see
Do you mind if I just do that one?
And as a thank you, I would like to add in your USCCA t-shirt.
I'd like to have
What size would you like for yourself?
files as well. We do have our women's community that'll be beneficial for you as far as just like starting with introductory training or questions you may have in some forum that you can speak to.
Oh, that's fine.
You like took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, no, I wanted you to verify that.
Hillsboro, PA. What's your mailing address?
Do you mind if I place you on that 3? Thank you.
Once you do have access to that, I'll send over a confirmation email. And the monthly payment did process, so everything is current and up to date. So then starting in March, it'll continue automatically again for you on that MasterCard.
You're very welcome. Thanks for calling the USCCA.
My name is Caitlin.
How can I help you today?
I'm nervous. Well, and that's just it. It's like I felt, a lot of people were saying, oh yeah, I ran to Africa.
Yeah, no, I wanted you to
In that kind of cold weather, I don't think we need to do it.
My name is Caitlin, and I would love to answer your questions and benefits that in with the membership. But most importantly, I would say, is that your member ID card will be in there, and the member ID card
February 21st or in March 21st.
But on
March
the flip
21st,
side,
you can charge just
it
a
has a little
I'm glad to hear
spread
that
of
everything
suggested
just
safe statements that you can use when talking about this.
So, what I can
Hey guys, I'm Bobby with the USCCA's award-winning member services team. Our phone number is 877-677-1919. We have over 75 people here tonight to take your calls, your chats, your emails, any question you might have about us, and to get that special offer tonight only. Things are really starting to pick up though, so I got to get back to taking your calls. Again, our phone number is 877-677-1919. Hope to hear from you soon tonight. Thank you for calling the USCCA. This is Bobby. How may I help you?